Welcome everyone. Let's begin our lesson for today by going over our learning goals and success criteria. First, what are we learning? We're learning how to work with positive, negative, and fractional exponents on integers and variables, and we're learning how to perform basic exponential operations and recognize like terms. How are we learning it? Through the negative and fractional exponents notes and the negative and fractional exponents assignment. When could we use this? We could use it to calculate the amount of money owed on a loan, including interest. How do we know we learned it? By getting a score of 4 on the negative and fractional exponents assignment. Now let's take a look at our agenda. First thing we'll do is go over the learning goals and success criteria. While we do that, you'll fill out your Get It Started. Once you've completed your Get It Started, we'll go over it together and answer any questions that you may have. Then we'll get into the negative and fractional exponents notes. After we've gone over the notes, you'll complete the assignment on negative and fractional exponents. Once you've completed the assignment, we'll go over it together and answer any questions that you may have. At the end of class, we'll go back over our learning goals and success criteria while you fill out your before you go. Your only homework is to continue working on the exponential function study guide and fill out any incomplete assignments that you may have. Let's take a look now at the negative and fractional exponents notes. Our notes begin with our learning goals and success criteria. Now let's take a look at negative exponents. So a negative exponent looks like this, where it's 5 to the negative second power. Now here's the rule with negative exponents. When we're working with a negative exponent, we're going to rewrite as the reciprocal, meaning instead of this being 5 to the negative second, we're going to write it as 1 over 5. And then we're going to change the power to a positive. So 5 to the negative second becomes 1 over 5 squared. So I made the power positive and put it under 1. Now I just do it like normal. So 5 squared is 25, so this is 1 over 25. Now 3 to the negative third power. So again, that becomes 1 over 3 to the positive third power. 3 to the positive third power is 27, so it's 1 over 27. Now we have x to the negative sixth power. So we're going to flip that and it becomes 1 over x to the positive sixth power. Now let's take a look at fractional exponents. For instance, we have 25 to the 1/2 power. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the base number, 25, and we're going to raise it to the power of the numerator. So it'll be 25 to the first power. And then the denominator is going to make up the root we're going to take. So in this case, it'll be the second root or square root. So the way that looks is we're going to have 25 to the first power, which is just 25. And then we're going to take the square root of that, just like this. So we need to know what number multiplied by itself gets 25. Well, we know that 5 times 5 is 25, so the square root of 25 is 5. Let's look at another example. We have 3 to the 1/3 power. So again, we're going to take 3 to the first, and we're going to find the cube root of it. Well, what times itself 3 times equals 3? Well, we should recognize that it doesn't come out evenly. There's no whole number that does that. So we're just going to leave it as cube root of 3. Now we have x to the 2/3 power. So what we're going to do is we're going to take x and raise it to this power. So it should be x squared. And then we're going to take the cube root of that. So the third root of x squared. And we should notice that there's no number that we can multiply by itself 3 times to get x squared. So we just leave it as cube root of x squared. Now what if we have a negative and a fractional exponent? Well, we do the same thing we did on the previous two. We're going to go ahead and flip it and make it positive. So we're going to, x to the negative 1/2 becomes 1 over x to the 1/2 power. Just like that. Now we know that we're going to take the 1/2 power, and that becomes x to the first, and then we're going to take the square root of that. So that becomes 1 over the square root of x to the first, which is just x. Let's take a look now at the negative and fractional exponents assignment. Our assignment begins here with our learning goals and success criteria. If we scroll down, we'll look at our questions for today. So the first one says, what is 3 to the 3rd power? Well, 3 to the 3rd power is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So that would be our answer. We'll continue to scroll down. I want to take a look at this one. It says 2 to the negative 4th power. Well, remember, whenever it's negative, we're going to flip it and make it 1 over 2 to the positive 4th power. So that's 1 over 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 again is 16. So it should be 1 over 16. Now let's find one with a fractional exponent. So here, 169 to the 1/2 power. Well, remember, 1/2 power means that we're going to take the square root of it, because we're taking the second root of 169. Well, the second root of 169 is the square root, so the square root of 169 is 13. So this will be our answer. So you'll continue to answer all these questions all the way until you get to the end. Once you get to the end, you'll click Next. This will take you to your Before You Go. Fill out your Before You Go, and then submit your work on Google Classroom.